Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Hi, I'm Erin, and regardless of what Postables might say, I also love Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
I'm Dan, and regardless of what Postables might say, I despise Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
You got one job. Brandon and friends host this podcast.
I'm gonna curb up my afternoon.
Hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, boy.
Hello.
It's a big
Deck
day
the Hallmark.
today.
What a day. There it is. Better
Erin's
late than never.
here. Erin's here because she is a Signed, Sealed, Delivered fan.
Actually, we had a contest. Anyone that could eat more wings than Bran
Got to be on
got
this
to be
episode.
on Deck the Hallmark. And let me tell you what happened. We went down to our local B-Dubs, our local
B-Dubs.
Buffalo Wild Wings, because I've not been there in years.
Yeah.
They're
Me neither.
having a promotion where it's all you can
All
eat
you
wings.
can eat wings.
And Bran heard about it, and he's been thinking about it nonstop ever since. Am I wrong, Bran?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
No,
yeah.
it is. When I got to the office this morning, it is. I think I'd been in the office 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And I heard, "Hey, Erin, we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings for lunch. We're not doing smoothies."
Typically, 9 out of every 10 Mondays, what do we do for
Smoothies.
lunch, Bran? Smoothies.
Smoothies.
Maybe 99 out of 100. And today, Bran was like, I've been thinking about all you can eat wings all weekend, and we did it.
Well, and usually, Mondays are really,
Jam packed.
jam-packed. And so this
Yeah.
Monday in particular was
So
not.
this was
Yeah,
one
when looking at the
opportunity.
schedule.
Well, look, it made
Yeah,
sense.
it made sense from a
it did
schedule
make sense
standpoint.
from a schedule standpoint.
To
I
start-
figured we'd be there at some point this week. The fact that we
Yeah.
were there Monday is what it is. But this was your one shot, your one opportunity. And
To see
Erin
everything you
just
ever
flat
wanted.
ate more wings than Bran did. Just did it.
Yeah.
Bran wanted to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and just couldn't hack it. It was Cookie Palooza all over again. He just didn't
Oh,
have.
come on.
Well,
didn't
it
have the
wasn't
ability-
quite Cookie Palooza.
I am
It was
not-
reminiscent of me. For those of you who watched the marathon, it was reminiscent of me trying to eat 6 donuts at 4 a.m. so
Yeah.
that Bran couldn't eat any
Petty.
donuts. Yeah. I guess I'm petty, and then that kicks into competitive.
Yeah,
I put the petty in competitive.
that's good.
Competitive.
Competitive.
I put the petty
Competitive.
in competitive.
That's,
Yep.
that's a
Competitive.
That's a bar, as,
Yeah.
as the kids
So-
say. Yeah, listen, it happened, and I
Yeah.
want to put this out there. I don't think that it's a big deal. Personally, I think that men and women can do the same.
Yeah.
Let's cut
Listen-
back
Across
to
the
Bran
board.
realizing Erin's eating more wings and having an existential crisis.
I gotta
Let's-
know. This doesn't
let's
bother
cut
me at
back to
all.
that.
This doesn't bother me at all. I'm not gonna think about it all day. This doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. At the end of the day, I truly do believe if we didn't have things to do, I could have gone for it.
Well, so what happened
We
was
already been there almost an hour and a half. We had to stop at some
in the
point.
first round, Bran
I made a mistake.
made the crucial error of going too spicy,
I went too spicy at first.
which slowed him down.
And I had to eat those wings for him.
And then Dan, being the good friend that he is, helped him out. And I said, I can have the first round is 10 wings, and then every round after that is 6 wings. And I, going into lunch, said, I very confidently can have 16 wings.
yeah.
And then when Dan had to eat 3 of Bran's in the first round, I
put him
I
behind.
saw an opportunity.
Yeah. Put him behind. You had the advantage there.
And then did it come down to a point where Bran could have caught up and we would have tied? Yes. Did I steal a wing out of his hands? I did.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
And now we're here.
Will
you
I
did
eat,
it.
will I eat a wing again before Bramblefest? Probably not.
You put the petty in competitive.
I put the petty in competitive.
I could do wings tonight.
I was about to say, here's the thing is we will be back there before that promotion
Yeah.
ends would be my guess.
Not a problem.
What we need to do is to really take full advantage, like you were saying earlier, Brandon, is we need to just, on the days
We
where
need
it's
to call
just
it a day.
in-house, we need to just do the recordings early in the morning. And we need to go like 1 in the
Call it a
afternoon.
day. Call it
and
a
then
day.
just spend.
That's the rest.
Why do we own our own business if we can't make it to
That's
B-Dubs
exactly
for
right.
3 straight hours of wing eating?
Yeah, so that's what happened. Everything's fine. We're talking signed, sealed,
Bran
delivered
and I
today.
are still friends.
We're talking about signed, sealed, delivered today.
Super long
We're
pause.
talking about signed, sealed, delivered today, which is exciting. This is a movie that Hallmark ran crazy promotion for.
Oh, you couldn't
You
go.
couldn't
It was,
turn.
man.
It was holiday
like
touchdown all over again.
That's right.
Yeah, I haven't checked today. Maybe after it aired, they finally put it on their website, but
No.
No, sure haven't.
The page for this movie is literally a blank page with a synopsis.
yeah, yep.
And that's it.
Trying to find a movie
didn't-
poster
they
for
didn't-
social graphics.
Yeah, they didn't put
Almost
out. They didn't
impossible.
put out the movie poster until
Well,
the movie aired.
Well, I found the only posters I could find was for a channel not in America. I'm assuming Canada probably,
W?
but it was to air earlier in April, like April 5th. And then
Interesting.
that ended up not happening, and then they just kind of slid it in.
Was
this past
that
weekend.
just the artwork, or did it have the words on it?
I mean, there were words on the poster that said streaming or airing on. I can't remember which. I'll find the poster.
Awkward. Anyway, yeah, this
It's almost
movie,
like they were contractually obligated to air this movie, even if
that is
one
what
of
it
the stars
seems.
got into trouble.
But
That's
yeah.
what it sounds like to me, but I don't
It's
know.
very weird because I don't claim to have any insight on this.
Yeah,
It does
this is on
seem,
IMDb.
yeah.
So
I mean, I do know
On
one
Coco.
thing.
What is that, Coco or Coo?
on good.
Good.
I don't know.
I do trust the timing, and I think that's what's important. If you trust the timing, then this was the right timing for this movie to air without any
Yeah.
publicity or commercials at all before it's airing, making it virtually impossible to find.
It does feel like even before anything happened with Mr. Babius, that Hallmark just was like in a weird
They didn't
spot
know
with
what to
this
do with this
movie.
movie.
They didn't know
because then they
like,
filmed both of them at the same time.
Yeah, I think.
Well, if you watch the movies, I mean, we'll get into it like in the synopsis and whatever. But like the last movie, Tale of Three Letters, ends pretty much right when this one picks up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there is a big gap in the movie. I don't know why they didn't just air it last year.
I don't know.
I mean, we all knew they had filmed two. We all
Makes
knew it
too
was
much
coming.
sense.
Nobody was in trouble with any sort of law enforcement at that time.
I'm
So maybe they
surprised they
just are
didn't-
like, nobody's going to get in trouble with this gang, right?
Yeah.
Jeff
I'm surprised they didn't
Gustafson?
like put it on the plus or something when they were doing that with the
Put
Who
it on
just
a
sneak it-
plus.
the
It is
movie.
But
weird.
would they have done that? Like, I feel like of all the fan groups, the Postables would have been.
Would get Hallmark Plus just to
like,
watch this.
I would think
I'm
so.
not so much of a Postable, but even I'm a little upset it didn't air on the Mystery Channel.
But also, now that I'm starting to think about what did air on the Plus, this doesn't make any sense.
Well,
I mean,
there were the whatchamacallit
The Aurora
movies.
Tea Gardens,
the Aurora
the
Tea
Jane
Gardens.
Mysteries.
There was the Jane Mysteries.
There were
Yep.
like 3 Jane Mysteries that
yeah,
aired
they
on there.
just- when they were first launching the Plus, they were just trying to like. I don't know what their original plans were with those movies that did drop on there, but it just seemed like, hey,
they
we
sure
should
need them now for April and May. I can tell you that.
And yet here we are. Anyway, let's do Signed, Sealed, Delivered, shall we?
We
Anywho,
shall.
To the Moon and Back, originally aired on the Hallmark Channel. Despite what they might want you to believe, on April 26, 2025, and it went a little something like this. A woman walks into a bar as Oliver narrates over top of the scene. We see that she ends up in the background of a selfie as she's walking in, which is apparently going to be a pretty big deal. And while she's walking around. She sits down at the bar. She is putting a letter inside of an envelope, puts a stamp on it. When she notices that cops have now entered the bar and are looking at people's IDs, she quickly leaves. And as she goes to leave, she accidentally knocks the letter onto the ground. When she pushes the stool in, that hits the letter underneath of the bar, never to be found again, except it does eventually. Fast forward 5 years, the gang is at brunch. Ramon brings them a letter that he found under the bar. It turns out that this brunch spots in the nightclub from 5 years ago are one and the same. They can't make anything out on the outside of the letter, so they open it up. Unfortunately, the letter could not be less helpful. It is even signed me, almost as if it is written in code. We also find out that Shane and Rita are both pregnant. Yippee! Oliver and Shane go to tell Oliver's dad that they are expecting child. Oliver is also working with his dad to open a postal museum of sorts. While they are going through stuff in the attic, Oliver's dad finds a box labeled "For Oliver Someday" and quickly tries to hide it. The next day, they're back at the office when Charlie reads the letter and immediately realizes that the author of this letter is talking about the now famous artist Nate Holloway and his song about
All right, Nate.
To the Moon and Back.
Go, Nate.
Shane looks him up and sees that he's playing a gig in Vegas, which we all know what that means. Road trip. Oliver and Shane go to the doctor's appointment and everything is looking good with the baby. However, Oliver realizes that he knows very little about his family history, and he goes to talk to his dad about that, who then gives him the For Oliver Someday box, much to Oliver's surprise. Meanwhile, the gang makes it to the Vegas show. At first, Nate acts like he doesn't know who or what they are talking about, but after the show, he admits the truth. The letter is from a woman named Tracy. What? And she wrote his best songs. The night at the bar, she suddenly disappeared without telling him why. Since then, he's been sending money to a P.O. box to her to just try to make sure that she's okay. The team...
She's been sending him songs, too.
Yes, sending him songs. The team stakes out a P.O. box until someone matching Tracy's description shows up. They follow her and discover that she's now a caregiver. She invites them in and shares her story. She's been on the run ever since her dad robbed a bank when she was a child. Her whole family, specifically her mom, has been wanted ever since because she was the little getaway driver, didn't know it, but what can you do? When she turns 18, her mom gave her some money and stamps, and they communicated through a P.O. box. After that night at the bar, she assumed that the box, it was not good to write anymore to that specific box. She never wrote again. She asked the team to find her mom and tell her that she's okay. While working on this, Oliver reads through the letters that his dad put in that box and begins to question why his dad held on to these letters all of these years. As he's processing all of that, Shane ended up tracking down Tracy's mom at a nearby church. And so he shows up, he talks to her, gives her the letter that Tracy gave her, and tells her that he must report her to the police. However, he finds out that she has another daughter who is turning 18 in 6 weeks. So he agrees to give her 6 weeks of time before reporting her to the feds. Oliver and his dad have a heart-to-heart about fatherhood, and they reconcile. 6 weeks later, it is time for the gala to raise money for the Postal Museum. Tracy, whose real name is Lily, shows up, and her mom is there too. They hug. It's a big moment.
Happily ever after,
That's
right?
exactly right. Lily goes on stage to sing, which is a big deal. She hasn't been able to go on stage and sing, and now that she can finally do that. Meanwhile, Oliver tells her mom that it is time. The feds are waiting for her. She turns herself in, and Oliver reunites Lily and Nate later on in the evening. The movie ends with the gang hanging out, drinking a yoo-hoo, and Rita finds out that the baby that they're adopting was born, so they rush off together as Shane and Oliver share a moment. And that, my friends, was
Signed, Sealed, Delivered to the moon and back.
We did it.
We did do it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We will break this movie down and more here on Deck the Hallmark.
Nailed it.
Coma
That's
a little
right.
bit.
Wing coma.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking Signed, Sealed, Delivered to the moon and back, to the Postables that listen to us every time there's a Signed, Sealed, Delivered movie review that we put out.
We're
Hello.
so sorry.
It's great to see you again or hear
What's
from you.
about to happen?
A reminder, you can watch our show and even Signed, Sealed, Delivered on Philo, philo.tv/DTH. We'd love to have you over there. I think it's pretty darn good, personally. So I'd love for you to check it out, philo.tv/DTH. Let's talk Signed, Sealed, Delivered to the moon and back. The final? I don't know. Potentially the last Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
I think we can say, barring an actual miracle, an actual Postables miracle, this is the last Signed, Sealed, Delivered movie with Oliver in it, at least, which I think would be the whole thing. I think that means it's the last one.
I think pre-Eric Mabius getting arrested, I think there was probably plans for it because the Postables would want to see, the two babies.
That's right.
I
can't imagine.
But the thing that bothers me is there is still an unreleased garage sale mystery. That even though they've started airing the older movies on Hallmark again post Lori Loughlin, there is still a movie that they never finished. Like, I think filming was mostly done, but it's just sitting there. and we'll never get to see that one. And I'm still
Never
mad
get to
about
see
it.
Well, there you go.
And so I think it would be hard for them to like, I don't know.
Do you want a
to
hot
make
take?
a whole new movie.
Do you want a hot takes? This is the hot take segment.
Uh-oh.
It's not time for the hot take on
Yeah.
the movie. This is a hot take on this franchise, which is I don't think Hallmark likes the Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies. I don't. I
Oh.
think that they placate a fan base that loves these movies. And I think these movies represent a bygone era to them, and they don't particularly care for that era. And they've had to release them anyway because they want to make sure this very, very rabid fan base is happy. And this thing with Mabius has given them enough leeway to never have to make another one of these again. I don't agree with that take. Postables, before you get mad at me, I don't agree with that take. But I believe, and I have no evidence of this, this is pure conjecture. I believe wholeheartedly that Hallmark is thrilled to be done with these.
Well, at the very least, Dan, this franchise began right around the same time as When Calls the Heart, and one of those franchises is the Golden Child
That's right.
of Hallmark, and the other is
Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
we're putting it out sneaky like in the dead of the evening and hoping
I
that
don't
no
know,
one
well,
catches it.
Maybe if they
It's
put
tough.
the same, time and money
Oh
into
gosh,
Signed,
it'd
Sealed,
be
Delivered.
way better. Yeah.
Let's get to
Wasn't
this
it
one.
like they had to make a choice between the earlier Signed, Sealed,
Something
Delivered
like
and
that.
When Calls the Heart, and they chose
Something
When
like
Calls the
that.
Heart.
Yeah,
And I don't think we're better for it. I would have loved to actually in real time, and this, I mean, I'll cover this way more in the episode, but I would have loved to see the Postables, Shay and Oliver, in real time solving mysteries, getting married, falling in love, instead of this like disjointed piece together.
Yeah.
Timeline makes no sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, hot takes.
All right, let's talk.
Okay. What
To
we
the
do?
moon
Okay,
and
got
back. It's time for the hot take. Is where we share
things.
our thoughts
It's almost
on,
like we ate like 60 wings earlier.
on this movie, and we do not hold back. Aaron, what'd you think? You did a lot of research for this one. You went back and you rewatched.
When you told me this, I couldn't
I
believe
know.
it.
So we were at lunch and I said, "Hey Dan, I'm going to say something that is both not going to surprise you and also make you mad at me." And that
You
is,
did.
and I was accurate.
You were, yeah.
In preparation for this movie, I went and rewatched all of the Signed, Sealed, Delivered again.
The other 11 films.
and
the show.
episodes?
Yep.
The show too?
All of it. I did it.
I mean, last time we did a Signed, Sealed, Delivered movie, you were on the show. You didn't like the movie because it sucked, and then Postables were unhappy
They came for me.
with you. So you're like,
they
you're
came for
doing your
me.
due diligence.
They were calling me out for not being a fan, even
Yeah.
though I don't know. The amount of times I've seen the show, if I'm not a fan, then
You got a
I'm
problem.
not okay. Because I
There's
do,
the-
like, it's still the original run of the TV episodes and the movies still make me teary eyed. I maybe don't cry as much as I did, but they still touch my heart and they're still very special to me. But there is something for, that was back in 2014 and we are 10 years post that. And I think, they've all gone on to do other things. Crystal Lowe has gone on to become a director and she's forging that path in her career. And so I think it's just like, it's harder when you're only coming back for a one-off, to get back into that same rhythm with each other. So it's Tale of Three Letters was rough. We're trying to come back from a several year gap. We've thrown Charlie into the mix there. That movie felt really disjointed to me. In rewatching it, there were certain moments where I thought, okay, maybe I was a little too harsh here, but I stand by my review that movie does not fit in the feel of here are the Postables that I've loved and watched for the last 10 years. I thought this movie was better. And maybe it's because we had less of Charlie and more of the gang going on a road trip, trying to solve a mystery, getting people together, and talking about their lives and their friendships. And so I liked that. It's not going to be my favorite. It's probably not even going to be in a top 5 of Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies for me, but I appreciate that we got it. I think we had 2 back-to-back perfect finales for this show. Then we came back for something that kind of ruined it. And while this was not a perfect finale, I think I'd be good. I've also discovered that this show is probably not meant to be binged watched in the way I did, because you do start to notice the timeline like unravels pretty quickly. But I liked it. I will probably watch Signed, Sealed, Delivered again, and I will watch this movie again. Sorry, Dan.
Christmas one still slap.
Yes.
Christmas one still slaps.
Oh, when he's given that speech
is
right before the pageant.
It's
Stop it.
phenomenal.
Stop it.
It's phenomenal.
Not fair. It's not fair.
Praise the Lord.
It's not fair.
Yeah, this one's good. You know, by and large, it worked for me. I felt like the mystery itself kept me engaged, which was part of the issue with the last one, is I just kind of got bored during it. I wasn't bored during this one, for what that's
As
worth.
someone who just watched it, I would be hard pressed to tell you what the mystery letter was about.
Sure.
Tale of 3 letters.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's 3 letters.
One involves Charlie.
There you go.
There you go. So yeah, I felt like this one, there are things about it, which we will talk about, that you can't help but like just go, right? Like, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that decision. But I did feel like, by and large, this one hit the mark as far as what we've come to know and quite enjoy about Signed, Sealed, Delivered. This felt a little bit more back on track for the franchise. And I mean, you know, it is, I'm never mad getting another one of these. But I think the time has come to hang it up, to hang up the, the postal pants. I don't know, like, what do postal people wear?
Postal pants is fine. I think that's what they call them.
Yeah,
Postal
so
pants.
I think it's time to hang up the postal pants and maybe pass the torch. I don't know, but I think this iteration of Signed, Sealed, Delivered is probably run its course. But we've been saying that long before any sort of legal trouble.
Yeah, I don't.
And so, yeah, I think that this is probably the last one because of the legal problems, but also definitely should have been anyway. So here we are. Dano?
Yeah, I want to be very clear. Like, the legal stuff has no bearing on this whatsoever. This series should have been done 4 movies ago, and we all know it. We all know it. The movie 4 movies ago stuck the landing perfectly, and they dared tempt fate. And then, you know what? They did it again.
They stuck the landing again.
They crushed it again. Walk off down the street into the sunset. Everybody loves you.
A beautiful, like, cobblestone street. They find one more letter.
At that point, this was, and I said it numerous times on the podcast, the best thing Hallmark had done. Now, a season of The Way Home, a season of The Chicken Sisters, the movies they've made over the last 3 years, that is not the case anymore. But at the time, Signs Sealed, Delivered, the TV show, and the first 8 movies, by and large, best thing Hallmark had ever done. They have subsequently tried their best to ruin that reputation over the last 2 movies. This movie is better than the 3-letter movie one. All of them are. That's the worst of them. This has a few like moments where you can almost see what used to be great about the show, but it's still not good. It's not a worthy finale for something that used to be great. These characters are all still supposed to be way younger than they actually are. Their heart's not in it most of the time. The writing is occasionally great, usually less than great. And then lastly, and we will get into this later, just so I can watch Bran try to defend it, the fact that they send this woman to jail is everything that's wrong with Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Everything that's wrong with it is that they send this woman to jail, that they believe that justice in front of the law is the most important thing, and they're upheld by some weird oath to something greater than them that isn't fate or faith or religion. It is this weird oath that they've taken, which means the best, most admirable thing to do is this poor woman finally seeing her daughter and then going to jail. That is abhorrent. It's terrible, and it does not get a pass from me at all, even though Oliver gives 2 sentences of a great speech in here. Tough watch. It was a tough watch last movie. It's slightly better because it wasn't boring this movie. They should have quit while they were ahead. They had something special. These characters, you know, Eric Mabius and Kristen Booth are both wonderful. They're in their 50s. They're playing characters that are still in their 30s, and it just doesn't make any sense anymore. Let's stop doing this. Let's stop making these movies. Unless you want to give me episodic, they're all playing their actual age and we get 40 minutes, a letter, none of this backstory stuff, maybe you could talk me into it. But man, stop ruining this thing. It was actually
Stop
great.
trying to make me believe, and I'm going to cover this in later on the episode. Stop trying to make me believe that Shane and Oliver are like 35 to 38 years
It's
old.
crazy.
Stop it.
It's crazy.
Did you say we're going to come back to the jail storyline?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Because I have thoughts on that too, but we'll cover that later.
Yeah.
It's time for all the feels.
Awesome.
Which is what we're talking about. What in this movie gave us feels.
Yeah.
Aaron,
Yeah, I have a couple.
go.
My first feel is a recent accomplishment. I don't know if you guys heard. I ate more wings than Brandon at lunch.
What?
And I'm just feeling really good about that.
They saw Brand coming. They're like, unlimited wings, sir. You can do it. 5 wings? All right.
And
That'll
then
be
I was over there and I was
$25.
like, excuse me, I will also have some
That's
unlimited
right.
wings. And then I said, no more for me. And then I said, JK, give me all these wings. But then my actual feels is just the sentiment of To the Moon and Back. That is something that my dad and I have always said my whole life is love you to the moon and back. When I was a kid, I would always try to prove that I loved him more by like increasing the distance. Like, I love you to the moon and back 100 times. You know, I love you to the moon back infinity times. So I liked that sentiment, and you know, there was a lot of, you know, the song lyrics and all of that kind of woven throughout the story. So that made me think of my dad and how much I love him. So that was great.
You think your dad really means it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Let's bring him in.
Shout out to Joe Shea.
Let's get Joe's thoughts
He
on
can't
this.
be here today. He just moved. He is retiring, and he just moved into his new house.
How about that?
He is a busy.
That's
right.
It's a busy.
It's a busy.
It's a busy.
He is busy settling into his new house by the ocean.
Great.
Good for him.
House by the ocean.
Yeah.
Huh. Anything else?
I'm not jealous about him being so close to the ocean.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
The movie ends
Bet I
with
could eat more wings than him too, though. So
Ooh. Gauntlet thrown.
I don't know. Sorry, Dad. I don't know if I've ever
Wow,
seen you eat
Joe
a chicken
Shea.
wing. I just don't know if I've ever seen.
Just because you ate more than Brand.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Don't throw Joe under the bus here.
I'll text him. How many chicken wings?
How
do you
many
think
chicken wings do you
I'll text him
Right now.
do you think you could eat?
No context. How many wings could you eat?
This movie ends with a group of friends drinking Yoo-hoo out of wine glasses, and
Not even wine glasses, champagne flutes.
yeah, if that's not the way friendship should be enjoyed, I don't know what is. I thought that was now a new thing that I would like to do with my friends.
We
here
could
in
have
the
probably
office.
made that happen
I think we
for
could have
this
done it today,
episode,
but we
and we
didn't,
didn't do
and
it.
so here we are. But
Oh, we
imagine,
could have. I own a glass very similar to what they were using.
but imagine if we had, it would have been wonderful. I really liked the Yoo-hoo of it all, and you know what? For what it's worth, they have kept that up this entire duration of the show, the Yoo-hoo of it all, and I appreciate that because I forget it, and then I see it, and I'm like, oh yeah, the Yoo-hoo,
And then it comes
so
back.
I like that.
and they were getting ready, and they were like, "And don't forget, Yoo-hoo for the road."
I was like, are they
road?
when the scene started? I was like, are they drinking chocolate martinis? And then I remembered.
No,
the
it's
Yoo-hoo.
Signs to
I
Deliver.
know,
They
I
would
know.
never.
I know. Dan,
I believe this might have been my feels in the last movie, but you didn't give me a theme song. You didn't give me a theme song. They had a great theme song, a banger of a theme song. Send me on my way, deliver me, just deliver me. Now, they switched it to Stevie Wonder when they got some big money in, and then they went
Yeah.
back to it.
very superstitious.
Nope. Different Stevie Wonder, believe it or not. Believe it or not, it's signed, still delivered, Brand.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then they went back to the theme song. That theme song's a banger. This
I
note,
just called
nope.
to say
You're so close, buddy.
I love you. That's a phone call. It's not a letter at all.
Not a letter, even a little bit. Just give me a theme song, guys. It's the least you could do.
It's the best. It's very good. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back.
Okay.
We'll see if Joe Shea has eaten some chicken wings,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about our Wait, What's in the What the Hallmarks here on
Deck
Deck
the
the Hallmark.
Hallmark.
Welcome back, everybody. Stake the Hallmark. We're talking Signed, Sealed, Delivered to the moon and back to the moon.
To the moon.
Let's get to our Wait What's. That's where we're talking about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? I'll start with you, Aaron.
yeah.
What you got?
Just a few. Just my first is when they were trying to find this letter in the attic. Have they ever mentioned that they have a letter from Ben Franklin? because I feel like that's a pretty big deal that Oliver would normally not shut up about. They were talking about
It's a big deal.
They were talking about needing like a cornerstone for the museum, and I thought for sure we were going to get a callback to the clock. That was such a big part of the last movie. And then they're like, in unison, they were like, the signed letter from Ben Franklin. And I was like,
nope.
Why? Like,
You
why
tell
is
us.
that?
You just rewatched them all.
Yeah. Why was that not like? You're telling me Oliver just let that sit in the most organized, unorganized attic in the world for 40 years and didn't display that in his home? Like, sure. But also the most organized, unorganized attic where they want you to think it's messy, but they find that letter.
And there's no dust anywhere.
30 seconds. Just fantastic. They are on such a time crunch to get to Vegas. They are like, Norman is out there honking the horn, being like, we have got to go. You know, Oliver, stop having this heart to heart with your dad. Stop talking to him. Go pack a bag. We have got to go. Vegas waits for no one. You know what it does wait for? Dinosaur Museum.
Yeah.
Got time for that. Pit stop.
Well,
I mean, that was included in the itinerary. Dinosaur
you work
Museum.
it in. You work it
Sure.
in.
Work it
You
in.
work it in.
The other one was when they were talking to Nate on his tour bus.
Yeah.
There was just probably 24 strawberries sitting on a cutting board.
You got it, man.
What are we doing? What are we doing with those? Are those all for Nate? Is he eating those? They're just sitting there. Those have got to go in some sort of container. Who cut them? Did Nate cut them and then just, I don't know. It bothered me because I wanted to eat them and I'm pretty sure they're going to get thrown away.
Yeah. Listen, tour's hard. It's hard to be on tour. That's why a lot of rock stars, etc.,
Eat strawberries?
turn to extracurriculars to keep them company on tour, but not Nate, not our guy Nate. Nate with the strawberries, Nate with the clear glass milk carton thing
That's
of
right.
green juice.
No way.
This guy
Above board.
above board. It's like still
What a superstar.
just above and beyond by our guy Nate Dogg. I hope he continues. So hopefully the road doesn't get to him because it gets to a lot of people.
I have one more.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, the green juice as well. But I guess I let that one go because I guess Rockstar juice. Someone had to eat healthy today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was us.
might
The
as well
last
have.
one
I ate enough
is
wings.
just, there are like, when you're looking back on the older, I think this is my biggest issue for why the newer movies don't quite work for me, is I think the main four have gotten quirkier in a sense where I think like Rita and Norman were always quirky. And that was what they brought to the group. But in this one, there were several moments where like even Shane and Oliver, it felt like they were trying to do bits almost, like when they were announcing their pregnancy and nobody knew who was expecting what. I don't know. There's these moments, and then there's a moment where they're in the camper and they're driving, and another. I can't remember exactly what happened there, but there was another moment where I was like, these conversations don't quite feel authentic to who Shane and Oliver are, especially Oliver. But I guess maybe old age, marriage, and potential fatherhood changes you, I guess. I don't know. But it just didn't feel authentic to who they were.
I mean, you watched
Yeah.
all the other ones before now. So if anyone would have that, it would be you. I
take
can't
your word
possibly
for it.
speak
Yeah,
to.
if they're quirkier. I just think definitely in the early ones, like Oliver is not. And I don't know. There was a couple moments in this where it just felt like I loved that he and Shane were at least talking again. And because that was a big issue in the last movie where they just forgot how to talk.
Ugh.
Which in my rewatch, like an episode or two before they get married, before their wedding, and they have this all of a sudden we can't talk to each other. She has this moment where she tells him that like nobody in the world understands him the way that she does.
Oh my gosh.
And then 2 movies later, I had to watch them forget how to say, hey, can you not leave your shoes in the middle of the staircase?
Oh, that was the dumbest.
Which I can understand like leaving them by the door, but come on, Shane.
Yeah.
In front of the staircase.
Yeah.
Is
Just
a hazard
trip
for
hazard.
everyone.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah,
You
I
don't
just
find Oliver quirky?
I mean,
He is.
I think he's quirky, like in his own way, where the way he speaks and the way that he does. But like he was like doing bits, like where it was
Which
like
he normally
it was,
doesn't
like,
understand the
he was
bits.
supposed to be funny, and they were, and for that it just felt like, yeah, he's normally not understanding references.
It's never too late to take improv, and I think
And
that's a good
and
message
maybe he
for
did.
everybody
He
out
took
there.
some dancing
Sometimes-
lessons. Maybe he took some
That's
improv
exactly right.
lessons. And I
Never
getting
stop
ready
growing.
for fatherhood. He maybe read like a dad joke book. Like, I'm willing to accept that his character can grow. It was just a last thought I had there as I was watching
just
it.
think, and we've not had Jeff Gustafson on the show. We've had the other three on the show, but I just feel like all four of the characters, the actors, are just not as invested in playing these characters as they were when they were the correct age to play them. I think they're doing a fine job, and I think they're wonderful actors, but it doesn't feel, there's no urgency to what's going on here. And instead they've tried to replace the urgency with let's turn these characteristics up to 11 on some of these characters, which makes a character like Oliver jump in a way he would have never jumped in the past.
And I think there's also something to say for like, you know, when I first started watching these movies, I was in my early 20s. They had Shane and Oliver or that whole crew was like late 20s or very early 30s. And as I'm watching it, like now, like it's been 10 years, but they're still in that time frame. And so as I'm watching it, like, I guess will look back on the growth I've had as a person and then realize that they have not. Like, it's just like this weird dynamic where I'm like, I want to be growing. Like when you watch a TV show that's been on for 10 years, like Friends, like that was on for 10 years. You watch those characters go through things. And this one, they just like stalled them out at a certain point. And it's like, and I think that's hard because now those actors are older than they're playing. And so I'm looking at them and I'm like, don't hear what I'm not saying. They all look fantastic.
Yeah.
But they don't look,
no.
Okay. 10s across the board. They
Coward.
But
Smart.
they don't look like 35.
No.
And so it's hard for me when I'm like, oh, you're having your first pregnancy. Like, it's just these weird moments where they're having these conversations where I'm just like, this doesn't feel authentic to the characters because the character is not 33. And I know the character is, 33, 35, whatever, but they're not. And that it's like this weird, it's weird for me to get behind it.
Fair. Listen, this is a worst case scenario for this family who has been on the run for a long time now, and Oliver getting his hands on this letter is the worst case scenario for this family, and I think we can all agree because the whole
he did
thing
more damage than he'd helped.
The whole thing with the dead letter office is they don't stop. They're going to find. So they on this mission they find a Lily who, hasn't wanted to be found, and then find a woman who's been on the run, and the feds have, in theory, been looking for her, and they find her. This is not the team you want.
No.
On this case, if you are this family, this is a tough break for them to find the 4 people in the country that will not let this case die. Even the feds have.
The feds have. That's exactly right.
Even the feds have been like, well, maybe she'll turn up eventually. Maybe there will be...
the feds do not care anymore.
Maybe there will be somebody who
they
ends up
fundamentally don't care anymore.
And so, and then for it to be Oliver, who, in my opinion, very much holds to his character of, well, I have to. I have to turn her in. I have this like oath, or I am held to this as a employee of the post office and of the government. He absolutely would turn her in, and so it made sense. And that's what I'm saying. It's worst case scenario, guys. This is worst case scenario for this family. I got a big kick out of the fact that like this is such a big moment for Taylor Lily. She's finally on stage. She's finally singing her song. Her mom is there watching her.
There goes Mom to the clink.
And
there she goes.
Oliver couldn't even let her have the whole song. Oliver's like, God, time's up. They're out in the alley waiting for you in an all black SUV, like they're getting
Tahoe,
like they're getting picked up from the airport to go on Good Morning America. They got a sign. We're waiting on you. This whole thing was a tough break for this family. I'm happy that she got to see her daughter perform. That was very nice. But you couldn't just give her the whole song. You couldn't be like, just wait. That's
also on my list. It's
that's
like
a tough break.
Mom had to go mid gala.
Yeah,
mid gala. Mid gala. That's tough. We will give you half a song. That's the best we can do. They're out in the alley waiting. They're out in the alley waiting. We're not going to make a big deal of it. That's what the feds are known for.
They are.
Letting you go at your leisure. You come to us out in the alley. We won't make a big stink about it.
I want to see the video of the Fed agent that got called by Oliver or whomever to let him know they'd found her. And they're just like, oh, okay, great. It's like you've given me homework.
Yeah. Even this federal agent is like gets off the phone and is like, what a narc. Are you kidding me right now? Gosh.
Tattletale.
Tough. That's a tough break. Dano?
Can I make a quick correction?
Yeah, Dan, go ahead.
The double deckers are pointing out that yes, it wasn't exactly a time crunch because Norman was double parked and that's why they were rushing. But before that scene, she's like, Shane is looking at their schedule and she says, we have 2 appointments, but if we leave immediately after, we can make it to Vegas in time. So that's the timeline I'm referring to is I guess when she said that without talking to the group, she knew Norman would want to stop at the dinosaur museum and she factored that in.
You got to. If you know Norman.
But I'm not really referring to that instant when they had to get on the road. It was, she said, the concert starts here.
We got to go.
We have the meet and greet. The meet and greet's at a certain time. We're in Colorado. Like, that was what I was referring to. So double deckers, postables, send me your emails, but not about that.
Yeah, we got to get to this concert on time so we can interrogate this music star before the encore.
In between.
What
well,
the
they were
F
late.
is happening?
They were late because of the dinosaur museum.
But they get backstage passes to this dude's show, and they decide, when we need to grill him is after he comes off stage before he goes back on for the encore. Who are his people? He is the worst people in the business.
Because I've been to a meet and greet. Those happen at specific times, not whenever you show up to the venue.
He's doing a great autographs too.
He's not just signing autographs.
He's doing a whole thing. He's taking pictures.
He's signing compact discs, Brian. He's signing CDs in the year of our Lord 2024, which is as crazy as being interrogated in between song and encore. I didn't know what was going on there. I love how we are now lazy enough in the Signs That Delivered universe that the letter says, dear you, love me.
It's in code, Dan.
Love me. That's what we got. We got nothing else but love me.
It was in code.
That was the whole point.
Use names.
I understand she couldn't use names. She could use anything else but that.
Hey, you.
That's what the feds were hoping too.
Yeah, they haven't cared for years. Rhiannon Fish, I said this last movie, I believe. Listen, we all know that we love Rhiannon Fish. The fact that she's supposed to be...
I would say 99% of her movies, the movies that she's in, she makes better just by being in them.
Yes, she's wonderful. They allude again that she was born this century. Guys?
No.
There's no world where she was born after I graduated high school. Like, it's just not happened. That's not happening. There's no way. There's no way. She was born in 1991, and I guess that's not as much of a stretch as Oliver and Shane supposedly still being in their 30s, but like, just make the timeline make sense. We don't care. Just like make it make sense. It's not that big of a deal. There's a classic Don't Make Me Sing bit. This is maybe the best Don't Make Me Sing bit of all time, which is like literal decades of trauma around Don't Make Me Sing. And it's fantastic. It's not even, worth mentioning as a wait what, except it is a classic Don't Make Me Sing. And then the rest of my wait whats are pretty simple. Oliver really needs to learn what it means to be a parent, like now, like right now, because the 2 things he does in this episode, which I am considering the series finale of Signed, Sealed, Delivered until I'm told otherwise, they're not you cannot convince me they're making another one of these movies that does have Eric Mabius in it. You can't convince me that they're going to do it.
Well, they haven't even officially announced this movie.
That's right.
So.
But 2 things happen in this movie that really drove me up the wall. First, he gets mad at his father for not giving him this box of letters sooner. And here's the thing is, his father was wrong. His father should have given him that box of letters sooner. He should have. It's his identity. The dad made it worse by hiding stuff about his biological father from him. It is a basic rule of thumb. The longer you wait with that stuff, the more untrustworthy you become, the worse it is. The scar gets deeper, the cut gets hard. It's all worse. That guy was wrong.
I heard the first cut was the deepest.
First cut. See, that's weird. It's weird. And I know
But it seems like you're trying to say it's not.
Well, if the first cut's not for 50 years, then yes. Yes, it is the deepest. That's right. It's like all the way through you. It's just a knife that goes all the way through. He's not wrong to be mad there, but what Oliver does in this episode is contrary to the theme of what this television program is about. I know Oliver's a rule follower. I know it. He doesn't even want to open a letter at lunch. I'm not saying it's against his personal character, but the reason this show and these movies have always been great is because they promise you something that isn't letter of the law. No pun intended. They promise you grace, mercy, a second chance, the ability to just say, I'm sorry and get forgiven. That is what this show has done as far back as I can remember. From the pilot movie, the show's about second chances. It is not about holding people's feet to the fire. That's not what this show's about. I get it. Oliver's a rule follower. The show is not a rule following show. The show is a spirit of the law show. It is you know what? Come back home. You can be forgiven. You can show people grace. Even if you've been hurt, you can be kind. All these things I try to teach my kids. That's what this show was. In this movie, this guy gets so angry at the guy that raised him. And then worse than that, in my opinion, he turns this woman in. For you to watch the other 11 movies of Signed, Sealed, Delivered and the TV show, there is no justice in this woman going to jail.
As someone who has just done this, I can back you up on this.
There is no justice in this woman going to jail. Zero. I don't care what the rule book says. I don't care what the law says. That was not justice. That wasn't right. It wasn't right to do this to this woman who has more than paid her penance for what she has done and how bad she feels, literally having to live without her daughter for as long as she's lived without her daughter. I'm sorry. The Oliver from 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whenever those movies were made would have never. You cannot convince me otherwise.
This is what I believe Oliver would have done. Is they were really big in the original run of movies that he had his Oliver. He goes
and gives a speech on her behalf.
He had his foundation, and I firmly believe that he would not necessarily have called the FBI, but he would have called and paid for like a lawyer. Like he would have done something where it's like, yeah, Oliver, I think there is a sense of justice there where he can't just like be a part of this crime. But the movies have always tweaked it in a way where like he does the right thing, but then the person gets like a second chance.
Well, that's what they were going for there with giving him 6 weeks, giving her 6 weeks.
No, I mean, I think he would have been like,
gave her 6 weeks.
At the point where she asked for 6 weeks, would have found a lawyer. They would have been working for 6 weeks on a case, and so it would have been like, yes, you have to go here, but we have already prearranged a plea deal. You're going to serve no time. You know what I mean? Like, there would have been
something
like a bow on that storyline. And
6
instead,
weeks.
she just like gets in an unmarked van.
It's the worst.
What if he was like, best I can do is 5 weeks?
It's just, yeah. I mean, there's the grace there of like, hey, I'll let you see your daughter that you haven't seen in 5 years. I'll let you see her for approximately 2 minutes or 3 minutes, 2 of which she's going to be on stage. But it just felt like unsettling to me where they just sent this woman off to prison basically, and they just washed their hands with her. Like I just think in previous movies they would have used their foundation's money
100% would have
to find
something.
a way, to be like not quite vigilante, but vigilante in the system. Like how like some of our laws.
But the whole premise of this show is we found a letter that never got delivered, and so everything that has happened maybe shouldn't have happened, and we're trying to change it. Mm-hmm. Like that's the premise of the show. Without getting spiritual, the premise of the show is we're revising a dead letter. We're giving something another chance to live the life they were supposed to live. And for this movie to not end with mom and daughter getting a chance to be reconciled and be together is bonkers. The law does not own you. That is so stupid.
And my thing is like, so they announced, they announced her full name before she got up there to sing, but there was no tying up that, like she and her sister are also like not necessarily criminals, but like accomplices. Like they're also wanted, and they've also been on the news of like we're looking for these people. But there's no wrap up of like, hey, we've been working with, the attorney general. You know what I mean? There was nothing to be like, hey, it's safe for you to get on stage and sing as yourself again. And she just, with no questions asked, just got up on stage and sang after being afraid to sing her entire life.
Don't make me sing.
And so, yeah, it just, there was something missing in the wrap up of that mystery where it was like this. So, like, are all three of them just going to jail? Like, mom's got to go mid-song, but the other two are going.
Mom was the actual driver.
Yeah,
I don't think that the other two were going to jail.
I think they
I
were
don't
on
know
the
if they're going to
lookout.
jail, but they've been looking for them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think they were looking for them to get to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't think so?
That's how I took it.
The other one has been, she's what, 23?
I never took it. I thought
She's
I
been
took
over 18 for 5 years. She's an accomplice at this point. She has had information about a wanted criminal and she has done nothing. That older daughter, Lily.
I never
can't
got the
believe the
vibe
feds-
that the daughters were in any danger of jail time. I never got that vibe.
I felt like Lily was. She's old. She's old enough
yeah.
to be prosecuted.
Yeah, I didn't. That's not what I got from it, but I get it.
If I committed a crime and went into hiding and you didn't tell the cops where I was,
They
you can be in trouble.
they go out of their way to say that
It's
she
weird that
was
you would
driving.
bring up something that's not a hypothetical at
Yeah.
all.
not hypothetical.
It's time
You
for.
guys don't know that we're in Greenville, South Carolina.
That's right. No, we're in Geel,
love
South
Geel.
Carolina.
Let's get to what the Hallmark story. Wonder what could have been. Maybe have some clarity. Any questions that we still have? Aaron?
For those of you wondering, no update from my dad on how many chicken wings he thinks he could eat.
Joe
so
Shea.
What is he doing?
I don't
Be
know.
around the phone.
Hopefully, he will get back to me before this episode airs tomorrow.
Maybe he's eating wings.
I would just love a world where my father is eating lunch at 2 p.m. Don't see it happening. Anyway, I'll update on the socials if I hear back from him.
Okay, great.
All right. Some two things that I pretty much had answered was at first I was afraid that we were not getting the gala in this movie. I thought they were setting us up for a gala postable party planning movie.
Ooh.
But they managed to pull that gala so quick. So nope, we don't need to do a second movie just about party planning a gala to fund a museum. So yay, we don't have to deal with that because that was going to be my, oh boy, is this what we're looking forward to? The other question was, I'm assuming they ended up in Wyoming. That's where she was in hiding.
Yes.
So I guess hypothetically in Wyoming, there would be one post office in town. I just don't know how like P.O. boxes. There are multiple P.O. boxes here in Greenville. Within the same zip code, do they like coordinate their numbers? Because he just had a zip code and a number. But I mean, we have dozens of P.O. boxes.
Yeah, I thought about that. You know, we have a P.O. box.
Yeah.
What there has to be more than one post office box location per
In a
zip code.
per zip code here. Like,
I would imagine though,
but do
if
they
you
coordinate so that like this one over
There's
here
no
is
way.
1 to 100
There's
and
no
that
way.
one's 101?
No, but I would imagine that they would have the information to be able to find out where a specific PO box is.
But if you just said,
To be fair, that's how you do it though. Like you have to, because if you were to send something to Bramble Jam, it's P.O. Box 6365, Greenville, South Carolina, 29606.
I guess you
don't give any other information.
So I guess I just brought up questions for me of like, it made sense to me
I'm
in
fascinated
Wyoming.
now how they do it.
It made sense to me in Wyoming where I was like, yeah, there's probably one post office and that makes sense. But then it really got me thinking of like, well, how do PO boxes work?
How they do those?
How they do those PO
How
boxes?
do they do those PO boxes? And because then I just went on a deep dive of like, if it's set up in the way that I think it should be and it makes sense, good on the post office. That's a lot of coordination and organization, and I'm proud of you. The last thing I have is I would really love, and Postables, please
Email Aaron, hello at
email
duckthehallmark.com.
Aaron at hello@duckthehallmark.com. Be nice, please. I like the movies that you're
Be nice,
fans of
please.
are very spiritual, loving movies, and some of you are really mean. So please be nice to me. I'm asking as an actual fan of these movies for some help with explaining this timeline. It would make sense to me if they want you to be able to watch these movies at any time, any place, any year, to not actually reference events or years in the movie.
Yeah,
But they do.
they certainly do.
And it frustrates me because when you were watching in 2014, it's taking place in 2014. And then we had a couple movies around 2020, 2021 that reference those, times. Then you have a movie in 2024 that references, I think it's like I think it's 2017 when Rhiannon Fish's character graduates high school. And they mention, well, it's been 5 years. So great. That gets us to when this movie came out. So the times that they are mentioning, fine, it's sequential. The characters they want me to believe have not really aged since 2014. If you're looking at their character arcs, they when they're planning the weddings, they mention the timelines of planning the weddings. It's not 10 years.
I know that this isn't accurate, but I swear to God, it feels like Rhiannon Fish has had an infant in Signed, Sealed, Delivered for
4 years.
Literal decades.
Well, because there's the movie from, what is it? We looked it up, 2021, where she gives birth at the end of that movie. We are here in the year of our Lord, 2025. That child is still a baby, not a year old. Still needs,
baby.
Cannot crawl. And it's just hard for me.
We haven't seen him try though.
I guess I have not seen the
so
kid
let's not
attempt
throw
to
the
crawl.
Let's
Kid
not
could probably crawl.
Make assumptions
I'm gonna. I guess
about their
we'll
crawling
assume,
abilities.
Yeah, I assume the baby can crawl but not walk. But it's just because I was wondering at the beginning of this, where is this, taking place in the timeline of it? Because at the end of Tale of Three Letters, Shane finds out she's pregnant, and then right into, maybe a month has passed. But so it's just either don't mention time or, like I've said previously in the episode, let the characters age. We do not need to see Shane and Rita give birth and raise infants. We could have done what so many other series have done, is time jump a few years. Let these actors play their roles. Let Shane and Oliver and Rita and Norman age.
Let them cook.
That's
what we're getting at.
And give us those performances. Stop trying to tell me that Shane is still my age. She was never my age. I've grown 10 years. She hasn't. And it's just, let them be the actors that we know them to be. Let them fill in those lived in stories that they're so good at telling, and stop trying to compress this, what has become a 20-year journey into a 5-year timeline.
Listen, I just want to know what jail time is this mom looking at?
Yeah. Hopefully they throw the book at her, Who needs mercy or grace? Let's
I'm really hoping that
I have to imagine
she helps them track down the husband.
Yeah. We're going to go with
and
that.
She maybe gets off with some probation or something. I'm hoping no jail time. No jail time
There's
for
no
mom.
way she doesn't get any jail time.
No jail time for mom.
I would love for her not to get jail time, but she's also been on the run for
I think it would have been
long
when the
time.
dad finally left them. I think it would have been easier if she had just turned herself in.
for sure.
But here we are.
Here we are.
And Oliver did not help her.
You know what?
shout out.
Moral of the story is
Narc on your friends.
Narc on your friends.
Narc on your friends.
As quick as possible.
You said it.
Dan?
Yeah, mine was timeline stuff. Really just the thing I said about Rhiannon Fish having an in for the last,
5 years.
3 elections. But it's fine. It is what it is. I think we've done it.
That's right. We've done it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we did it, everybody. Congratulations to us. We still got a May preview show this week. We've got, we still have what else we got
We
this
got a
week?
Force Friday this
Force
week.
Friday.
The final Love Club mom.
Oh, that's right. And
Yeah.
which, by the way, in case
You were looking for them.
You were looking. They are now airing terrestrially on Up TV, which you can watch on Philo. So
Yep. You no longer need that Up TV Faith and Family pass.
subscription. So
That's
there
right.
you go. Give it a watch
So
and
you
join
too
us.
will be able to watch. Is it Corey Sevier?
Yes.
Shirtless?
Xavier.
Severe
Corey
weather
Sevier
warning
shirtless.
coming your
That's
way. Philo.tv/CTH.
Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow with another one. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.